on how to isolate a color in Cricut Design Space. So I've picked a pretty basic image, and so what you want to start off by doing is you need to take your background, and I've already done this, but what you want to do is you want to take your background and create a copy of it. Then you want to delete your original background layer as it's locked and you can't really do much with it. So now that you're on your copy, what you want to do is select as close to your image as you can to have the least amount of other colors going on. It just helps the cleanup process. Then you need to go Control Shift and I. You can also access that in the menu up here, select and inverse. I'm really big on keyboard shortcuts. If you'd prefer to go to the menu and go select inverse, that's completely up to you. And then you want to hit delete. So now we're left with the ivory and this gray. So now you want to go select, you want to go to color range, and you want to select the gray. This one's a pretty basic image, so it works out pretty well. If you do have some shading involved, you can hold shift and you can slide through to make sure you're picking up. See, then I picked up the gray. So you can hold shift and you can slide through to make sure you're picking up all of the shades of the color you want to keep. If you do go too far and you select the wrong color, you can go Control Z and undo that. Okay, so now we have our BR guest selected in our little mug. So then now what I'm a little worried about is if I hit delete, that'll be gone. So I don't want to hit delete. So I want to undo that, and I want to Control Shift I again and select the opposite and delete the opposite. So now don't worry too much about how it's kind of transparent. That's not too much of a concern in here. So now we go blending options and we go color overlay, and I always change the color just to make sure. If you really are worried about it, click inside of it to highlight it, then go to your paint bucket tool and just fill it in. You can make it a little more of a solid color, but it's not that big of a deal. Design Space, you'll still take it the way it is. So let's just fill this one in too. There we go, filled in. Fill this one, this one, this one. But like I said, this really isn't all that necessary. Okay, so then the next step here, you want to go File, and you want to go Save for Web. So if you haven't done this before, it'll likely have a different one selected. If you have a JPEG, it's going to be white in the background, and that's just going to make it more difficult for you because when you put it in Design Space, you'll then have to click all the white to remove it. So you want to save it as a PNG. The PNG file will preserve the transparent background. And then we hit Save, and we save it as whatever we'd like to save it as. So today I'm saving it as BR Guest, and that's saved. And then when you go to close it, it's going to ask if you want to save it. That would be saving it as a PSD file. I never do. I don't need to have 2 copies of my file. I hit no. If I run into an issue later and I need to open it up again, I can go File, Open. I can go into my vinyl folder here, and I can find BR Guest, and I can open it right back up. And there you go. So that is how you isolate one specific color in Cricut Design Space. Happy crafting!